It's almost like betting the stock market. The good part about it is you can take a bet today. In the 2 or 3 days, if you nail that bet, you can be able to cash out, Joe. Like you just hit a heavy stock. Like you go into Sun Microsystems or whatever it's called, and you buy into it. In 3 days, you can sell it for a massive profit. Do you understand these markets, Joe?
I do understand the markets. It's amazing how some of the predictive markets seem to have the answers before the test.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
8 3-minute rounds. The gloves are 10 ounces. And Anthony Joshua weighs like 250 pounds. So I'm not really sure how this is going to end up happening. But this is one of those. Normally, I don't give credit to the Paul brothers. And, I give them credit for being great on social media and creating a lot of buzz for the sport. I give him credit for getting in the round with Anthony Joshua. This is not like a Mike Tyson fight where Tyson's 60 years old.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Travion Henderson and a few others have the Pats at 9-2. Is excellence back in New England, Joe?
Excellence is back in a big way. Mike Vrabel came back into town. Drake May has come out of his shell, and Travion Henderson has come out of, I don't know where he was. He was in obscurity, but he had 3 touchdowns on Thursday night.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Let's take a look at a couple of narratives here and play a good game of fade or not fade. And first up, well, the idea that the Chiefs are going to put it all together and win the AFC West, well, that's absolutely gone. Absolute fade from this point on, Donnie, with the Chiefs. Their 10-year reign is over. It's done with.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Feast week, baby. What does that mean? Yes, Thanksgiving on a Thursday, tons of football, Black Friday football, Saturday and Sunday football. Spend some time with your family. Hopefully you like them. Hopefully you can break bread, get that turkey out there, have a couple cocktails, and relax. And nobody throws those fisticuffs down when that crazy uncle comes over. But we all been there before. We love this week, and we love bringing the action to you and keeping the energy high. Donnie Wrightside along with Joe Ranieri. It's our job. It's Monday. It's Armchair Quarterback. We know that you can't wait to get to Wednesday night to hang out with all your high school friends at the local bar and have some fun and talk some shop and then get after it this weekend. But we still got some time to do that, Joe, and there's still a lot more information that the people got to get.
Yeah, a lot going on this week here. Thanksgiving, Donnie, a lot of games as we wrap up college football, the regular season here, getting ready, of course, for that postseason, and a lot of interesting movement in the NFL here, Donnie, that, boy, the next couple of weeks are going to make or break some team seasons, that's for sure.
By the way, the primetime, thank goodness for the comeback yesterday for the Dallas Cowboys, because if you were looking at that 4 o'clock slate leading into a night slate, which a lot of people, including myself, like, you know what type of game are we going to get out of this? The Los Angeles Rams were phenomenal last night and easily dispatched 34-7 the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They could have scored 55 or 60 points against the Bucs, but just took their foot off the gas because why? Tampa Bay was dead in the water. And one of those things that happened yesterday, Baker Mayfield was 9 of 19 for a touchdown and 2 picks and an injury. You see that picture right there? In a sling. Not a good sign for the Bucs. 6-5 now in the season.
No, they said a sprain, but he's having an MRI today to determine the full extent of the injury. Teddy Bridgewater came in and, what was he, 8 of 15 for 62 yards, which is about right for Teddy Bridgewater. Kudos to him. I mean, did you even know Teddy Bridgewater was back in the NFL there, Johnny, with the Tampa Bay Bucks, because he looked about vintage Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
Could spell trouble. If Tampa doesn't get healthy other places, that whole division could be a losing record making the postseason.
Backup quarterback is an awesome job until you're not the backup quarterback anymore and you got to get thrown into the wolves against a team like the Los Angeles Rams. That's what happened. But there is a lot of time left in the season, but we'll probably know more today about that Baker Mayfield injury. So certainly keep an eye out here on the Sports Grid Network. How about the Patriots yesterday, 26-20 over Cincinnati? Cincinnati did get the cover yesterday, but we're waiting on a suspended Jamar Chase to come back. And next week, Probably not going to be paired up with T. Higgins, and maybe not even Joe Burrow now. Higgins leaves the game smashing the back of his head on the turf, trying to make a catch. He's out with a concussion. He's not playing next week. No doubt in my mind he's out.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, it was unfortunate the way it ended up happening because they laid it all out there, Cincinnati. They knew their season was on the line. It was a big effort, but they were hamstrung at best, and now they've lost Higgins. They'll get Chase back. But unfortunately, at this point, barring any sort of craziness moving forward, their season is all but over here at this point.
And by the way, nobody can understand this situation either. It's Brandon Ayuk, who did get injured, had a big contract, but wasn't coming to the facility, wasn't working out with the team, not answering phone calls, going to functions. They voided his 2026 guarantees here. But here's Kyle Shanahan talking about the Ayuk drama.
I'm sorry, maybe it's the same question I couldn't hear, but you want to get into specifics. So what happened in July to cause that voiding?
I'm not going to get into specifics of that. There was a number of things from July that, to me, is more of a business side, dealing with lawyers and stuff and contracts and stuff that is really not my area of expertise.
This is a guy, obviously, the team felt, and you felt good enough to give a very large contract not very long ago. Is there disappointment that it's gotten to this with Brandon and the 49ers?
Yeah, of course. I've been coaching over 20 years, and I've never been in a situation where a contract's been voided, so it was extremely unusual to me.
And personally, I mean, I imagine you were very in support of him getting a new contract. We know how weird that negotiation was, but do you feel let down by the situation?
Yeah, I'm not really there yet. Like, I know everyone got a lot of information yesterday. That was information that I found out in July and kind of dealt with it then. And to me, the contract stuff and guarantees and things like that is really, it's irrelevant to my relationship with the player and my relationship with our team and what we're trying to do this year. I know I went through that stuff and talked to him a lot about it back in July. But since July, it's been all about this season and hoping he would get healthy, and he's been working to get healthy, and I've been waiting for him to come back when he's healthy.
This story doesn't make any sense, Joe, because like you have an agent if you're Brandon Ayuk, and you're Brandon Ayuk. You just signed a massive contract. The reason why you want that massive contract is in case I get hurt, I get the guarantees. So he gets hurt and then just decides to, void it himself basically by not showing up to activities or maybe rehabbing or being a part of the team. So you're basically saying to yourself, I have a knee injury. I don't know if I'm going to be the same. I probably got like $50 million more coming to me if I play or not play, but I don't like this organization. So void all that money and make me a free agent and hopefully somebody signs me. This story doesn't make any sense from either side.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, Ayuk, he hasn't played a game since October of last year, right? He agreed to a 4-year, $120 million extension in August of last year, right? And that was that long, drawn-out contract dispute and everything else. But then apparently in July of this year, Donnie, things went off the rails and they voided everything. So if I'm Ayuk, am I really trying to get back anytime soon? Like this whole thing is a mess here.
Yes, and again, it's just you got the contract. We see someone like in Major League Baseball, like you have 6 years left on your deal. Like, dude, I hope he retires. Like, no, I'm not retiring. I'm going to hang out here for 6 years and get my pay because I don't even have to see the field as long as I'm just, hey, we're going to demote you to AAA. So what? Do whatever you want. Just pay me my money. This story is crazy because if he came back this year and is healthy, what a playoff push you can make. But it seems like he doesn't want to be around and wants to be a free agent and then tries to get, I don't know. It's just, I'm at a loss for words at this right now. Chris Paul, by the way, I'm at a loss for words of who he actually plays for and why he's saying he's going to retire now. Man's in his 40s right now. Should have hung it up a couple years ago, Joe.
Yeah, he's not helping the median age of the Clippers by any stretch of the imagination. But he will retire a Clipper, which is where, I believe he played most of his career there to start, certainly. So it'll be it's good. I mean, he's one of the all-time greats, one of the leaders in the NBA and the Players Association. But he's, not making an impact at 40 years old. Not like the other 40-year-old LeBron James is.
How about this next story, Joe? Take a look at Marcus Semien and the trading, and you're going on. It's the hot stove. I didn't see this one coming here. Semien heads to the Big Apple. Nimmo goes down to Texas here, sort of firing up some fun here at this point right now.
Yeah, I guess. I don't quite understand the trade for either of these two teams, but It'll be interesting to see
Fresh
that
start?
maybe this is just a move ahead of a move. Maybe there's more moves coming for both these teams. It'll be interesting to see how this works out here.
Look, everybody's scrapped. If you play football, I don't care if it was pee-wee football, middle school football, high school football, college football, whatever. There's always scraps. You get over it. Your brothers, you dap it up afterwards. That didn't happen at UAB. Nobody was dapping up, Joe. They were stabbing down there.
Donnie, it was the weirdest thing. They're taking on South Florida at home, and a couple of hours before kickoff, there's dudes fighting and getting stabbed in a locker room. And three players did not show up, including one of their big defensive linemen who apparently was doing the stabbing. And no reason as to why yet, but boy, that got out of control in a hurry.
Joe, F1 out in Vegas. My favorite clips were not from the race themselves. It's from the one escalator that you could ride up and down and catch a glimpse of the race. For going to Las Vegas, which is a people-friendly town, and voyeurism is big out there, where you just walk up and down the strip, you people watch, watch the fountains at the Bellagio, you gamble, you drink, you have some fun. This event doesn't make any sense for Vegas at all. It takes months to set up, ruin the strip itself, and then they basically tell you, unless you're playing thousands of dollars, we don't even want you here or watch it. The F1 can't get out of Vegas quick enough.
Yeah, well, the funny part is, Donnie, is it's perfect for this Vegas because nobody goes there anymore to spend $80 a bottle of water anyway. So have all your F1. Enjoy. Should be a great time because you've basically squeezed out all the middle people.
When I was in my 20s, Joe, go to Vegas, get a cheap room. They wanted you to gamble and eat, and everything was on top of it. Now it's like we just want to rob you before you can even get to the table. We'll be right back. Morning and stuff on the way. Let's go. It's almost like betting the stock market. The good part about it is you can take a bet today. In 2 or 3 days, if you nail that bet, you can be able to cash out, Joe. Like you just hit a heavy stock. Like you go into Sun Microsystems or whatever it's called, and you buy into it. In 3 days, you can sell it for a massive profit. Do you understand these markets, Joe?
I do understand the markets. It's amazing how some of the predictive markets seem to have the answers before the test.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
8 3-minute rounds. The gloves are 10 ounces. And Anthony Joshua weighs like 250 pounds. So I'm not really sure how this is going to end up happening. But this is one of those. Normally, I don't give credit to the Paul brothers. And, I give them credit for being great on social media and creating a lot of buzz for the sport. I give him credit for getting in the round with Anthony Joshua. This is not like a Mike Tyson fight when Tyson's 60 years old.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Travion Henderson and a few others have the Pats at 9-2. Is excellence back in New England, Joe?
Excellence is back in a big way. Mike Vrabel came back into town. Drake May has come out of his shell, and Travion Henderson has come out of, I don't know where he was. He was in obscurity, but he had 3 touchdowns on Thursday night.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Let's take a look at a couple of narratives here and play a good game of fade or not fade. And first up, well, the idea that the Chiefs are going to put it all together and win the AFC West, well, that's absolutely gone. Absolute fade from this point on, Donnie, with the Chiefs. Their 10-year reign is over. It's done with.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Joe, they were calling it Cupcake Saturday this past weekend in college football. Not a lot of action, not a lot of excitement. Maybe we get it ramped up this week into a rivalry week heading into Black Friday and also Thanksgiving weekend. But the AP poll does come out. You know what I do appreciate, Joe? Like, we don't waste any time. Like, the AP poll comes out on a Sunday. We don't have to wait till Monday to see it. And there weren't a lot of surprises, but the focal point basically is not who's in the top 10. It's just out of the top 10. Usual suspects, Joe. Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, Georgia, and Oregon in the top 5. But that next row here, starting with Alabama at 10, BYU 11, Vandy 12, Miami 13, Utah 14, and even Michigan. They said, well, why are you talking about Michigan? All hell could break loose. Michigan knocks off Ohio State, which is something they've been able to do the past couple years. Talk to me, Joe, about heading into this weekend, what your viewpoints are on the AP Top 25 poll.
Yeah, chaos, Donnie, is what is likely to happen. And then tomorrow night, when they have the final ranking there for how it's all going to look heading into the postseason. But the reality is, listen, none of these teams here up at the top they did what they were supposed to do. They won. Ohio State, right? Georgia, Oregon. They all ended up handling their business. Oklahoma. So there's not going to be a whole lot changing there. I think the Oregon situation is going to be interesting because they only have one loss, but they're on the outside looking in. And like you said, if Michigan beats Ohio State this week, then Oregon very much locks itself in no matter what happens there. And boy, oh boy, maybe, just maybe, Oregon could be playing that Indiana for the top spot there and number 1 seed.
Yeah, it feels like I'm just waiting for like Ohio State to play somebody. Like Texas opening up. We thought that was going to be a big game, and it was. They won 14-7. Grambling, Ohio, Washington, Minnesota, Illinois, Wisconsin, Penn State, Purdue, UCLA, and Rutgers. So maybe are we overhyping Ohio State? Because in the championship process here, they're a plus 180 to win the national championship at most outlets right now. Can Michigan give them a fight? Can we see that, or we don't see that till the Big Ten championship game? And it doesn't matter because Ohio State and Indiana are automatically in the playoff anyway at this point.
We're going to find out because they got to go to Michigan. They have not been able to beat Michigan now for how long has it been? Feels like it's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
It will be, I think, the biggest test that they have had all year long. So everything we're going to need to know about Ohio State is going to take center stage this week at Michigan.
Oklahoma's a fun team to take a look at for Joe. Why? Because it's almost like a throwback. Play really good defense, make just enough plays on offense, and escape with victories. A victory last Saturday, Oklahoma knocked off Missouri 17-6. Prebula came back. He was bad, but that Oklahoma defense was sensational. They pick up the victory. Another step towards making the playoffs for the Sooners here in Brett Venables.
Yeah, I mean, great job, but you're right. I mean, doing it with defense because that offense is not very good here at all. But defensively, that's a championship defense. They swarm like nobody's business. But them and Ole Miss are so interesting because them and Ole Miss, they win out. They'll win their last games, right? Ole Miss has the Egg Bowl. And then they don't have to play in an SEC championship game, Donnie. They just get to sit on the sidelines, and they're not going to be kept out of the college football playoffs. So talk about being in a good position. Oklahoma and Ole Miss holding all the cards here.
How about holding no cards here? Feels like it's the ACC from any perspective right now as Pittsburgh crushed Georgia Tech 42-28 on the road. Tech had that clear path, no longer here. Pittsburgh might have a path, but they got Miami on deck this weekend. Helter-skelter in the ACC, and it started up last week, and it's going to continue this week.
Listen, my hope was that Duke would throw a wrench into everything there and run the table and be a 4-loss ACC champion. But nope, now instead we might have SMU and Pitt playing, 2 unranked teams playing for an ACC championship, thus basically nullifying the ACC altogether. Virginia they're the only ranked team in the ACC at 19 right now. If Virginia beats Virginia Tech, they will be one half of that ACC championship. Pitt needs to beat Miami and then needs either Virginia or SMU to lose in order to make it. So basically, if SMU and Virginia win, it's those two in the ACC championship.
What's crazy about the ACC is they banked on Miami, Florida State, and Clemson. That 3-team there is going to be every single year in the ACC championship, propelling us into a college football playoff or a national championship picture. I don't know what the ratings for the ACC, but they might as well be like the 12 o'clock game or 11 o'clock game, like they usually would put a Conference USA on just to get that out of the way. We are rooting for chaos, but it's just the ACC has been so bad this year. Maybe it's giving that they get 2 bad teams in the ACC championship game. How about out west? The Oregon Ducks punching their ticket possibly to the college football playoff, a victory over USC. Lincoln Riley, everybody, the team always plays soft. Yep, they played soft again on Saturday. 42-27 victory for the Oregon Ducks. Whittington and Davison both scored touchdowns on the ground for Oregon as they pick up the double-digit victory.
Yeah, again, I mean, kudos to Oregon getting it done. They were able to run the ball. The defense had a couple of interceptions. They hold serve. But USC, once again, I mean, under Lincoln Riley, this has been the most yawn fest. I mean, USC has become irrelevant under Lincoln Riley, which is hilarious to me because he was supposed to be the savior to bring them to the promised land again. It ain't happening, Donnie. They can't win on the road, and now they've been eliminated from the college football playoff. So welcome to the Alamo Bowl there, USC. Enjoy.
You know who's not going to the Alamo Bowl or any bowl at that? That's the North Carolina Tar Heels. They got beat by Duke 32-25 in that game. Bill Belichick, home for the holidays. But said, no problem. We're just going to hit the recruiting trail, and we'll be fine next year. But Duke, 32-25. Duke, with their 6th win of the year, they're going bowling.
Yeah, they are. I mean, kudos, Duke, I guess. I mean, that's the problem with the ACC. We're celebrating mediocrity here. But Belichick, listen, I don't know what people thought in the first year, but they could have won that game again, Donnie. They had a few games they should have and could have won here this year, but we'll see how it goes on the recruiting trail.
Ranked teams in the ACC, Virginia, Georgia Tech, Miami's at states here in the sittings. 6-1, 6-1, 6-1. SMU. It's going to be SMU, Virginia, Joe, in the ACC championship. I mean, that's what we're going to get at this point here. Or do you see even more chaos? Like, we've been hyping up Miami. They should get in. There's a good chance Miami doesn't even beat Pitt this weekend. We don't have to argue anymore, Joe.
Well, the problem is Miami is likely to be the highest-rated ACC team that won't be playing for the ACC championship, and that is where the chaos, because they beat Notre Dame.
Miami favored by a study on the road against Pittsburgh this weekend. Cal State Markets up next. Stay tuned. It's almost like betting the stock market. The good part about it is you can take a bet today. In 2 or 3 days, if you nail that bet, you can be able to cash out, Joe. Like you just hit a heavy stock. Like you go into Sun Microsystems or whatever it's called, and you buy into it. In 3 days, you can sell it for a massive profit. Do you understand these markets, Joe?
I do understand the markets. It's amazing how some of the predictive markets seem to have the answers before the test.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
8 3-minute rounds. The gloves are 10 ounces. And Anthony Joshua weighs like 250 pounds. So I'm not really sure how this is going to end up happening. But this is one of those. Normally, I don't give credit to the Paul brothers. And, I give them credit for being great on social media and creating a lot of buzz for the sport. I give him credit for getting in the round with Anthony Joshua. This is not like a Mike Tyson fight where Tyson's 60 years old.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
TreVeyon Henderson and a few others have the Pats at 9-2. Is excellence back in New England, Joe?
Excellence is back in a big way. Mike Vrabel came back into town. Drake May has come out of his shell, and TreVeyon Henderson has come out of, I don't know where he was. He was in obscurity, but he had 3 touchdowns on Thursday night.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Let's take a look at a couple of narratives here and play a good game of fade or not fade. And first up, well, the idea that the Chiefs are going to put it all together and win the AFC West, well, that's absolutely gone. Absolute fade from this point on, Donnie, with the Chiefs. Their 10-year reign is over. It's done with.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Get your daily dose of some Kalshi right here, looking at those marketplaces that you might not be able to find on DraftKings or FanDuel or BetMGM or Caesars or anything out there. It's fun to try to take a look to see that stock market approach, Joe. And that stock market approach, we're going to take a look at the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft in 2026. Right now, with a 43% chance, that's Fernando Mendoza. He's the starting quarterback for the Indiana Hoosiers, followed by Ty Simpson, my guy, quarterbacks, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Caden Salter, Francis Mauiaga. I believe that is the offensive tackle there for the Miami Hurricanes. #1 overall. Fantastic stuff. Dante Moore, Reuben Hurricane Bain Jr., which lets you know, Joe, you got 2 guys in the top 7 or 8 coming from one football team, but apparently they can't make the college football playoff. Who are we going with #1 overall, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think Indiana has and Mendoza have the path. I mean, a lot of people think he very well could be the first quarterback taken in the draft, and he'll have an opportunity to prove it. He has been phenomenal, and what can you say about Indiana? There's nothing not to say. We've seen him win games for him. The numbers are there, and Tyson, it's a quarterback award. I think we can all agree on that. And it's just a matter of Alabama now. How do they finish here, and what happens with Ty Simpson? But I think Mendoza's the front runner for a reason.
Now, everybody loved Drew Aller. Drew Aller got an injury, Joe. He's 1%. So $100 wager is going to pay back $10,000. We know how if he does say, okay, I'm coming out in the draft at this point, and he gets a good workout in, they start to rock it up because there are question marks at the top of the leaderboard. I'm not saying we're going to be betting and throwing our money away, but it's interesting to see how that quarterback market works because I'm telling you right now, Joe, Fernando Mendoza right now, the #1 pick. People like him. The minute the season ends, even if he wins the championship, they always throw darts at the top guy, like, oh, he shouldn't be there. Don't you remember what they were doing last week? Like a Cam Moore, like, I don't know. Maybe Shador is a better quarterback than him at this point, and certainly the falls start to take place. So one of those marketplaces that is fun, but Mendoza is the favorite right now. Thanksgiving Day Pro Football Combo, Joe. And I don't mean getting a turkey leg and a wing at this point. The 2-leg money line. Kansas City and Baltimore win, 52% chance. Detroit wins and Baltimore wins, 47%. Detroit wins and Kansas City wins, 39%. Anywhere we're going in this marketplace, Joe, if we have a 2-team tag team money line parlay.
The problem is I don't think Kansas City's winning. So what happens then, Donnie? What do we do? And I mean, you're anchoring any sort of parlay with Kansas City going to Dallas and winning a game after Dallas clearly is not the worst defense in the NFL anymore, is it, folks? And the offense seems to have gotten whatever they wanted against pretty good defense there of the Philadelphia Eagles. So yeah, I'd be very worried about using Kansas City as an anchor in any sort of money line parlay coming up on Thursday.
How about Detroit wins and Dallas wins the first 2 games of the day, Joe? That's a 26% shot here. $100 pays back $385. If you want to flip it up and say Green Bay's defense is going to win the day, and Baltimore, keep in mind, 3 full games here. At night, you are going to have a separate game as well. If Baltimore and Green Bay win, that $100 wager comes out to be $295. So a lot of different ways you can go, which includes Dallas and Cincinnati win here. That is a $100 pays back $1,000, a 10-to-1 shot here for a couple of underdogs. And by the way, looking at, Lamar Jackson, I don't know, man. But then he said that. Jamar Chase, he's going to play. Is Joe Burrow going to get rushed back for Thanksgiving? Or are they just going to sit this one out and tank that game? That's what makes that one tough for me, Joe.
Well, it is tough because I don't know. They were practicing Burrow last week. So did you opt to avoid that game so we'd be ready for this short week one? I'm with you. I'd wait and see on that. Don't forget, look ahead line for that was 10.5, Donnie. We're down to a touchdown now in that game.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Maybe
there.
He is playing.
He probably, look, if he warmed up last week as if he was going to go, if they're just going to tell him, sit it out for the remaining month, and NFL teams don't do that. That's your quarterback. Do you think he would be happy? I'll just sit this one out and not play football till next year. He is going to play, and we thought he was going to play last week, probably going to play this week as it stands out. National champion in college basketball, Joe. 3 teams listed at 10% in the marketplace. That is the Duke Blue Devils. That's the Houston Cougars. That is the Purdue Boilermakers here. If you have those 3 teams right now and a free $100 to spare, Joe, who would actually get that for you out of those 3 teams?
I would bet $100 on all 3 of them, Donnie, because every one of those will double in another month and a half. All 3 of them will double. At 11% now, you'll get them at 30% in a month.
Followed by Gonzaga, UConn, Arizona, Florida, St. John's at 4% out here. Good markets in Kalshi here. Stock market, up and down we go. We're going to head back to the NFL next. What actually happened on Sunday in some of these games? Don't remind me.
another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in one-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, one-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
It's almost like betting the stock market. The good part about it is you can take a bet today. In 2 or 3 days, if you nail that bet, you can be able to cash out, Joe. Like you just hit a heavy stock. Like you go into Sun Microsystems or whatever it's called, and you buy into it. In 3 days, you can sell it for a massive profit. Do you understand these markets, Joe?
I do understand the markets. It's amazing how some of the predictive markets seem to have the answers before the test.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Not a ton of offense in this next game we're going to talk about, but a lot of scoring. That was the Chicago Bears, 31-28 over the Pittsburgh Steelers. This line was anywhere between 2.5 to 3.5, depending where you got this game. Why? Because we did not have Aaron Rodgers start. Beginning of the week, Joe, I picked the Chicago Bears -2.5 because I was hoping Aaron Rodgers would start. I thought Mason Rudolph would give him a better chance to win this football game because I didn't think Aaron Rodgers would be effective with the broken wrist. Mason Rudolph, 24-31, $171, 1 touchdown pass. They also added 186 yards on the ground, and the Steelers lost this game and dropped to 6-5 now on the season. Tough loss for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but flip it over to the Bears. One of the hottest teams in football at 8-3 before they head into a game on Black Friday against the Philadelphia Eagles.
The Bears are the biggest frauds there are, Donnie. You got to be. I mean, I'm watching that game and I'm going, you've got to be kidding me. You know, they have combined, the teams that they have played this year have a 26-56-1 combined record. They are they have a negative point differential in this spot right now through 11 games. I'm telling you, it's laughable how unbelievably fortunate they have been to this particular point. And again, you know, when Caleb Williams had an opportunity the last couple of drives in that game yesterday, Donnie, to put it away, all he ended up doing was going 3 and out and giving Rudolph and the Pittsburgh Steelers a chance to win that game. Listen, this is going to come crashing down in an epic way for the Chicago Bears sooner rather than later.
And it seems like it's already crashing down for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now it's 6-5, tied with the Baltimore Ravens. Look like they're going to easily win that division. Now things certainly are up in the air at this point right now. Jeff, if you had to pick Steelers or Ravens down the stretch, which team would it be for you?
Oh, who cares? They both stink. It's amazing to me here. But the perception of both these teams, Donnie, is hilarious. That we're all thinking they're red hot. The Ravens are okay. So the Bears are red hot, but they're beating nobody and they're barely doing it. And they're doing it because they're fortunate enough to be plus 15 in turnover ratio. The AFC North and this Bears team, to me, good luck. I don't see either making any noise in the postseason.
We'll see if the New England Patriots make some noise in the playoffs as they now sit at 10-2. And by the way, a perfect 6-0 on the road this year on the season. They beat the Cincinnati Bengals 26-20 in this game. Drake May threw 35 times for 294 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. The team added 107 yards on the ground. Close game as it played out. Chase Brown was good, 19 carries for 107, but just not enough gas left in the tank for Cincinnati to win this game. Entertaining here, but since he does get the cover.
No, it was very entertaining, but the reality is, again, you lost now, I think, 2 more offensive linemen for New England, and at some point, you're going to have to play a real team, right? You're going to have to play a better team than the Cincinnati Bengals there, and yeah, it did not look good. Pick 6 with Drake May yesterday against that defense. Yeah, the injuries are starting to pile up and are a little concerning for New England.
No, it certainly is, but right away, one of the bigger games of the day, not that we thought it was going to be a good game, but the talking points were heavy out there in Las Vegas. The Browns, 24-10 over the Raiders. They actually had a 24-3 lead in this game. The defense for the Browns was absolutely astoundingly good. 10 sacks, which included 3 more sacks on the season, by maybe one of the best defensive players we've ever seen. That's Myles Garrett. Now, Shedeur Sanders did get the win. It was very brash and cocky. We get that. And sometimes it is about just winning the football game. But if you look at the statistics there for Shedeur Sanders, you say, all right, well, he threw for 209 yards and a passing touchdown. His QBR rating was 8.7. There were guys yesterday that threw for like 3 interceptions with barely any yards that had higher QBR ratings. That defense was so good yesterday, Cleveland could have just taken a knee the whole game and still won.
Yeah, and listen, I thought the minute they had 14 points in the first quarter, Donnie, that was enough to win the game because it felt like there was no way the Raiders were going to dig themselves out of a 14-0 lead. Even that early, given what we know about this defense and Myles Garrett being an absolute wrecking ball once again. And well, I mean, listen, they fired Chip Kelly after this game as if it's his fault. You signed, Geno Smith and traded away his only target and have no offensive line. I don't know what to tell you, Raiders, but it's already they're firing assistant coaches here left and right, trying to deflect the blame once again from a terrible front office.
Here's Shedeur postgame talking about the big win by Cleveland.
I was a 5th-round pick. I got skipped by everybody at least 5 times. so it's not it just come with the game. It is what it is, but I'm just thankful for where I am now. I don't. Everybody have their differences. But I still got an opportunity to play. So why can I be mad? Money different, but thankfully I have a good family. So it is what it is. We're not playing for that. We're playing for the love of the game. So I'm just thankful to be out here, have an opportunity, be able to go and play. Go out there and play. Go out there and start. Like, you don't know how surreal, that feeling is, knowing that you have the responsibility of the Browns organization on your shoulders, having all the fans, everybody in here arguing with each other online and everything. Everybody have their differences about me. It is what it is, but I'm just thankful I'm here before y'all, today. And hopefully we cleared a little stuff up, but we have a long way to go, a long way to grow. And I know it's only one way, and the only way is up. Thank y'all.
Kevin Stefanski says he's not even sure he's going to be QB1 next week, Joe. How about that?
Donnie, listen, I don't know why they went about the way they went about here with Stefanski. I really have no idea. But it is clear that Stefanski is not sold on Shedeur Sanders. And it's one thing to beat the Raiders because your defense is out of control against them. But who are you beating, Shedeur Sanders? Exactly correct. He still throws too many balls and can be intercepted, holds on to the ball too long. He doesn't look any more a starting NFL quarterback than Dylan Gabriel. Only Dylan Gabriel likely will turn the ball over less and put its team in bad position. So Stefanski's going to go back to Dylan Gabriel as soon as he's ready to go.
We'll see. There's a lot of growth here that you can have, but Shedeur did go over his passing prop, had 209 yards, threw a touchdown pass. But again, the QBR, 8.7. Like, Geno Smith was bad yesterday. He had a QBR of 12.7, sort of puts things in perspective there of the plays that you're supposed to make and not playing. But when you have 10 sacks as a defense, it doesn't matter what the heck kind of offense you're playing. You're going to win that game and win it going away. Here's Pete Carroll talking about the loss from the opposite perspective.
It was not a good performance, and there were a lot of boos out there. For the fans that may be lost a little bit of hope right now, What would you say to give them some assurance that there is light at the end of the tunnel and there is will turn over?
Well, some good's about to happen, and if you can hold on to that mentality, then you keep believing that you could turn and if what's happened, and that's kind of what has gotten me for all these years, and so I've not been here, but it doesn't change. That's the approach. That's the outlook. Yeah, it's disappointing that we're pretty disappointed about this one. But if you don't score, you can't win. And we couldn't score, and we had opportunities to make big plays. We didn't hit them. QB was under duress the entire time. So really disappointed that we weren't able to find the plays that could have given us the field change and the switch so that you have a chance to knock one in. And so we made a number of penalties, but there was a couple of really big ones that really made a difference in the game and they had changed the field position. We tried the guys we thought had the best shot to do it. He turned his ankle, and so Cat got in there for a little bit, and then he went back. I think came back into the game. But we had a bunch of scheme, we had a bunch of strategy and slowing the thing down, but we could hold up, and it looked really unfortunate.
Time for the nursing home, Pete. It's time to go. I'm sorry. It's time to go.
What is he doing? I don't even know what he's doing, but I'll tell you this. Myles Garrett has 18 sacks on the season. He needs 5 sacks in the final 6 games to break the record of 22.5, and I guarantee you he'll have it in the next 3 games.
What an absolute monster on defense over there. By the way, Chip Kelly out as the Raiders offensive coordinator because he was apparently the issue with the entire organization, Joe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's his problem. The offense is terrible. Yep. Yes. My goodness.
His offense was terrible in the final 3 quarters. The Philadelphia Eagles. That game and more coming right back here on the early line.
Another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in one-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, one-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
It's almost like betting the stock market. The good part about it is you can take a bet today. In the 2 or 3 days, if you nail that bet, you can be able to cash out, Joe. Like you just hit a heavy stock. Like you go into Sun Microsystems or whatever it's called, and you buy into it. In 3 days, you can sell it for a massive profit. Do you understand these markets, Joe?
I do understand the markets. It's amazing how some of the predictive markets seem to have the answers before the test.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Crazy game yesterday out in Arizona, which saw an overtime game, and the Jacksonville Jaguars win 27-24 over the Cardinals. An interesting scenario popped up late in that game around the 2-minute warning. The Jags go for it on 4th down instead of kicking a field goal, which would have made it 6 points of this, which allowed Arizona to go down and tie it up, only to see Jacksonville win it in overtime. Topsy-turvy game for Trevor Lawrence. 3 touchdown passes you love, 3 interceptions you hate. But Travis Etienne, 15 carries on the ground, Joe, for 86 yards, and then added also 3 catches for 30 yards and another touchdown here. Jacksonville picks up their 7th win of the season, and Arizona just can't stop the bleeding.
No, they can't. But I mean, they're not quitting either. I watching that game, I have no idea what they were doing in overtime there. They could have played for a tie and continued to move it, but they had a chance to win, and instead on the 4th down, they threw a bomb down the middle of the field into double coverage for some reason.
Yes,
so
did.
I have no idea what they're doing, but that clearly looks like a team that, who is now 3-8 and 1-5 at home, did not care necessarily about moral victories. But they fought back, and I'm sorry, Trevor Lawrence, does he look any different now under Liam Cohn than he's looked his entire career? Great, 10 TDs, you got 11 interceptions on the season. How they're winning games is still beyond me here.
Protect the football, win games. They ended up with a win yesterday, got their 7th win of the season. You'll take that out there. And Liam Cohn was yelling in the locker room, I never apologize for a loss or a win. Of course, they didn't play well, but they did get the victory. We'll see how they go. And Duval gets their 7th win of the season. Let's get to the important game of the day yesterday. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys entered in 4-5-1 at this point with a really bad defense. The Eagles quickly hung 21 points on the Dallas Cowboys, then intercepted Dak Prescott in the end zone and said, you know what, this game is probably over. Or was it? Every big play that the Eagles had was a penalty. A lot of that on their own doing. The Dallas Cowboys throwing bombs down the field. Pickens was making plays, and so was CeeDee Lamb, even though CeeDee Lamb dropped a lot of passes in this game. But if you don't run the football, you don't capitalize on errors from the other team, you will lose the game. 21 for the Eagles, 24 for the Cowboys, and those 24 unanswered. I don't know what the Eagles did in the 4th quarter, turning the football over, terrible special teams plays, unbelievable loss for the Eagles as they now sit at 8-3, wondering where their season is going now.
It was a tale of 2 halves, right? Dallas couldn't get out of its own way in the first half, and the Eagles capitalized to the tune of 3 touchdowns. And then the second half came by, and then it was complete role reversal. The Eagles couldn't get out of their own way, and Dallas capitalized. And unfortunately, Dallas had an opportunity there in the end to get the field goal, and they did. So, the one thing that is concerning is that, that defense of Philadelphia, as good as it is, what was it supposed to do here? I mean, it was out on the field the entire time because you kept going 3 and out and couldn't run the ball. And that's disheartening here. So, and the injuries starting to pile up too, once again, for the Eagles. Man, if you can't run the ball and sustain drives, I don't care how good that defense is, Donnie, eventually it's going to wear down, and the Cowboys were able to take advantage.
Xavier Gibson was already cut from one team this year because he makes stupid special teams errors. Made the dumbest play of the game by catching a punt on the 2-yard line, then fumbling, and then the Eagles defense bails out the Eagles by getting the football back and stopping them on 4th down there. Dak Prescott threw 36 times for 354, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Give credit, Dallas. They hung around. They made the plays when they had to, but I just can't stop thinking about the Eagles' offense where it was Swiss cheesing Dallas and it just shut off. Yes, every time the Eagles got a first down in the second half, it was called back by a penalty, but you still have to be better than that. Simple running plays, and even late in that game, there was a 3rd and 2 at the end of the football game where the Eagles had it, and Jalen Hurts took like an 18-yard sack instead of maybe pushing or handing it off up the middle, getting a yard or 2, and then maybe going for it on 4th down. Nothing worked for the Eagles, and by the way, they have a super quick turnaround this week by playing on Friday. And yes, some of that secondary is banged up. Makuba got injured late in the game. He's in a walking boot. Yeah. Reed Blankenship got a nasty Charlie horse. I don't think he even came back into the game. And also he had a concussion from Adoree Jackson, which he's not going to be cleared to play by Friday's action. A banged up defense needs to get healthy as quick as they possibly can. So when I look at the Eagles, I don't know where they go. That should have been an easy victory. Now they lost. Now they're probably going to get the number 1 seed, and the Rams look good. So, I mean, it's just so like I'm at a loss for words where how bad the Eagles were, and they lost that game, Joe. I just am.
Yeah, I mean, they had won every 1-score game they had this year, right? And then eventually at some point, that's going to come back to bite you. But their inability to run the ball and sustain drives is just, Dallas made adjustments defensively. Kudos to them because, they too in the first half the Eagles were doing a lot of that. Let's chuck it up and hope Devontae Smith comes down with it. And he did. Well, then Dallas was doing that in the second half with CeeDee Lamb and Pickens, and they couldn't defend it. So, but the inability to run the ball, I think, is eventually what's going to be the bugaboo here for this Eagles team.
It's amazing. A team that ran over everybody last year can't even get 2 or 3 yards this year. It's kind of crazy the way it plays out. Let's get to that late night game last night, Joe. 34-7. The Rams were that good and probably could have beat them 68-7. Like Notre Dame absolutely pounded on Syracuse. Matthew Stafford threw 35 times for 3 touchdowns and a passer rating of a 122.7 and a QBR rating of an 80. They didn't even need to run the football. This was a mismatch in talent, coaching, and certainly athletic ability. The Rams, they look like the real deal right now.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, they look poised. They look like they know what's going on here. Stafford is absolutely. I mean, if you looked at those 2 games between the Patriots and the Rams, and you don't think Stafford is the MVP, I don't know what you're watching. Because the guy is playing at a ridiculous level right now, at 37 years old, and they're just steamrolling teams, and not just offensively, Donnie. That defense. That's legit what the Rams got going on right now.
And you take a look at the Rams' future schedule at the Panthers, at the Cardinals. They get a home game against the Lions, and then also take on the Seahawks there. That's going to determine probably who's going to get home field advantage in the NFC, but also who's going to win the NFC West. Some really good football teams to try to pay attention to, and certainly at the top of the standings now is the Rams. Winning the NFC, Joe, plus 210 Rams, plus 310 Eagles. They've now moved to the front runners, and I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that.
No. I remember when Devontae Adams was washed, right? Couldn't. Yeah. I mean, well, who wants it? Yeah, it washed, huh? Again, quarterbacks make receivers. Receivers don't make quarterbacks.
By the way, man, you get him on the 1 yard line, just throw him a quick out route. Nobody can stop Devontae Adams. Man, the guy gets like 5 catches a game for 32 yards and 5 touchdowns because he catches the ball on the 1 yard line. Tremendous stuff here. We're going to close down a Monday edition of the Early Line next with some buy bets, and also check in on the public, people.
Another sport like the NBA, which is dealing with its own, scandals, so to speak, and its own headlines with the FBI and what else comes, because this is the same FBI team that also brought the NBA scandals to light. So I'd have to imagine they're working on some other stuff as well right now, and the timing is definitely not a coincidence, but definitely some very significant news in the gambling world that now you're not going to be able to bet more than $200 on a specific pitch market.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Where are the wins coming from? And yes, I agree. Are they good enough to win those games? Yeah, of course they are, right? But the reality of this team is not very good this year in one-score games. They're not. That was their bread and butter a year ago. Like every win last year, one-score game, the Chiefs found a way to win it.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
It's almost like betting the stock market. The good part about it is you can take a bet today. In 2 or 3 days, if you nail that bet, you can be able to cash out, Joe. Like you just hit a heavy stock. Like you go into Sun Microsystems or whatever it's called, and you buy into it. In 3 days, you can sell it for a massive profit. Do you understand these markets, Joe?
I do understand the markets. It's amazing how some of the predictive markets seem to have the answers before the test.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Exciting Monday morning show right here on the Early Line, setting the table for your SportsGrid day in a massive week across all sports landscapes. NHL is going to be rolling, college basketball, the NBA, college football, and also the NFL. So it's our job to get you in the know and reach out and say, you know what? Sometimes we actually need some input from the public tonight, and that deals with the Monday Night Football game. Here's our Fade the Public poll. Donnie, where do I find this poll at right here? It's easy. Go to SportsGrid on X and hit the follow button there. Each and every morning, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we ask you a question, and we need your opinion on. The question, simple for tonight. Who are you betting tonight in Panthers versus 49ers on Monday Night Football? 4 options, the over, the under, or the Panthers with the points, or the 49ers to cover the spread. Right now, Joe, 38.3% live. That's the Panthers at plus 7.5. That's who the public's going with, Joe. Do you agree, disagree, total, side? What do you think?
Oh, we're about to find out here. I do think the points are coming here, Donnie, though, tonight. And not only a team total might be in play here, I think, for the 49ers, but I absolutely think that we're getting over the 49.5 in this one as well.
Yeah, hopefully we get some points tonight. You need the running mate, Joe. I know San Francisco's going to be pressing it down. Come on, Ted McMillan. Come on, Bryce Young. Come on, Canales. Dial up some plays so the people out there can certainly enjoy and get that total. We'll see who wins the side. But also, it's one of those games that you saw, again, 2 weeks ago on Monday night. Oh, they're throwing us a clunker. A lot of high stakes tonight for both of these teams. Carolina could be the leader of their own division with a road victory tonight. We'll see how that plays out and have some fun. But, Joe, you know what we got to get to? The people want their money. It's a Monday. It's time for some best bets. Here's bye. NBA, college basketball, NHL, NFL. So many different ways to play tonight's card, Joe. Where are we following the money and getting after it with?
Well, Donnie, we will go to this NFL game here tonight, Monday Night Football with the 49ers and Carolina. And I'll tell you this, much like last night where I looked at that line and said, I don't get it here. Why are the Rams not a bigger favorite? You know, they've got a team coming in that's banged up, that has injuries, certainly across the offensive line and some skill position guys. Barely a 500 team. Like, what are we doing here? Well, sure enough, the Rams steamrolled the Tampa Bay Bucks last night. And I can make the same exact argument here tonight. Even though there's only a game separating these two in the win-loss column, Donnie, these two teams are not created equally, which creates a ton of value on the 49ers who are getting healthier at the right time. And this is just the tale of one team being able to score and probably score at will versus another team that is never going to be able to play a shootout type of affair with the 49ers. I think the 49ers win this game by double digits. I think they win it easily. I will fade the public, but I do think points are coming, and I certainly think that Carolina will have enough opportunities to add enough, but ultimately, maybe to the over, but ultimately will not be keeping this game close. I like the 49ers to do what the Rams did last night and handle business rather easily at home.
Let's get some points in it, Joe. You know, I'm going to the Association tonight. 7:30 tip time. These two teams don't have to travel far, Joe. It's the New York Knicks and the Brooklyn Nets. Line opened up at a 15-point number for the Knicks, and Knicks aren't even the home team. Well, technically in the crowd, they probably will be the home team, but just not their home court. I'm going to take the 14 points tonight in an ugly game with the Brooklyn Nets. Because you know why, Joe? Sometimes you just got to get back to the basics here and just say, where Brooklyn at, baby?
Ooh.
Where Brooklyn at? Biggie Smalls in the house tonight. Let's go, Brooklyn. Give me the 14. I'm taking them tonight. How about that?
Listen, they covered last time out, too, as well, Donnie. A lot of people looking to fade Brooklyn every game, but the great equalizer is that spread, Donnie, and you're right. You got to be careful here with these games, especially tonight, Thanksgiving week here, Donnie. Big effort coming.
I mean, come on, man. I mean, big effort from your boy Biggie Smalls. By the way, he wears 72 for the Brooklyn Nets tonight, so keep an eye out for my guy Biggie Smalls tonight. Rocking and rolling as we take down and go 2-0 tonight. But also, Joe, we got a big week this weekend. Like, we're going to be here Tuesday. We're going to be here Wednesday. Then we get some time off on Thursday and Friday from the early line so everybody can have that fun and spend some fresh time with their family here this weekend. But this is one of my favorite weeks of the year, my favorite holiday, and an unbelievable sports week with so many things up for grabs here. And by the way, the Giants just fired the defensive coordinator today. So there's that, Joel, on the way out. Some live footage for you.
Yeah. Him and Chip Kelly was their fault.
Shane Bowen, hold the lead, Shane.
Unreal.
My goodness. Donnie right side, Joe Ranieri. We will see you bright and early tomorrow morning for another edition of The Early Line.